So a few days ago, I was having a conversation with my roommate, and she's doing her music thing now, and she's like, yeah, I've been using Instagram a lot for marketing and all that stuff and reaching out to people. And I was like, oh, that's such a good idea. Let me send you this video of this guy who's like an expert on this stuff, Gary Vaynerchuk. And so I went back to my room, opened up Facebook, and I happened to see a notification from this club that I'm a part of from my college. Even though I graduated a year ago, I'm still a part of this club, so I see all the updates from it. And my friend posted, Gary Vaynerchuk is speaking at City College. And I was like, oh my gosh, I literally came onto Facebook for this purpose. And it turned out there were 2 spots left for alumni, and I was literally so lucky that I got a ticket. So amazing things happen randomly. So then today, this morning, I got to go see Gary speak. And it was honestly kind of surreal seeing him because he's been so inspiring to me. Apparently the president of like the entrepreneur club at my college like pestered them for a year, emailed him, Facebooked him, Instagrammed him, whatever, and he finally came to speak, and for free, which is crazy because I've like looked up Gary Vaynerchuk like speaking engagements in the past, and it's always like hundreds of dollars. You have to be some member of this business thing, or you have to go to this conference, and it's super expensive to go. So I was like, forget about it. But I always wanted to hear him speak in person, so it was really cool to be able to do that.
I am an immigrant. I was born in Belarus in the former Soviet Union. I came here when I was 3. I lived in Queens in Rego Park for 2 years in a studio apartment with 5, 6, 7, 8 family members. So I can relate to that grind and that hustle. I literally didn't even know my dad for the first 14 years of my life because he would leave before I would wake up and get home after I fell asleep. First as a stock boy in a liquor store, making $2 an hour, and then eventually a manager, and then, you know, immigrants, and I'm sure some of you know this, immigrants have really figured out the secret of American business, which is don't spend any money on dumb shit for 10 years, save it all, and then buy something, right? And so that's what my dad did, you know, and he bought a small liquor store in Springfield, New Jersey. I grew up in Edison, New Jersey, you know, lemonade stands, shoveling snow, you know, baseball cards. You know, it's so crazy for me that I get to live through the era where an entrepreneur is cool. Only way out was Yale and Harvard and Cornell. Like, school was the only benchmark that created opportunity. And so for me, I'm excited about this entrepreneurial thing, but at the same token, to be very frank, one of the things that I want to try to dissect in our Q&A now is I also think it's gone a little bit too far in the other direction. I think everybody thinks they're going to be a winning entrepreneur. You know, it's funny, everybody says they're an entrepreneur. That's like me saying I'm a basketball player. That's cool. Like, it's fun that I get to run at the YMCA a couple times, but I don't get paid, right? I'm not an NBA all-star. And I think what's happening right now is people are putting the word entrepreneur in their Instagram profile, and they think it's a rap, right? The number one thing that I'm trying to leave here with is to get a couple of you to get real fucking patient, because that is the singular advantage. If you actually don't give a fuck the way I didn't of what people think about you all through your 20s, like you just don't care, like you literally don't, and you just build something for yourself, you have a much better chance. A couple things that I think you need to really wrap your head around is it's for life. 99% of the kids that walk in my office or I come across, they're trying to flip their shit, which means they're doing it for the money. And when you're doing it just for the money, you've got way less chance to actually make the money. So if you build a business, if you're in the mentality, if you're in the mindset of building it for life, you get slower, you get more true, you build much better foundation. Basically, like if you think about like building a house, everybody's worried about like decorating the fucking room and like what lighting are you gonna have, or what color's your wallpaper. And meanwhile, the cement you built the house on is shit, and it's not gonna matter because the first time it's gonna rain, the shit's gonna fall. I think a lot of people are trying to find their passion and like, okay, cool, if I love it, then that gives me a better chance to build a business. I would say the one thing is I would take a step back and reframe it. Instead of looking for it, let it come to you is how I think about it. So what I would do is, when you're not looking for your passion and you and your crew are like talking about what you're gonna do and how you're gonna do it, what do you do? Right? Like, to me, it's like, what are you doing when you're not trying to build a business? Whether it's music or sports or shopping or fishing or coding, like, what are you doing when you could be doing anything? I think the right answer, man, is like to realize you got what you got, and it's like poker, right? You might have not gotten the best hand in your perspective, but you still have a shot.
Exactly.
You know, like my favorite story of my life is playing checkers with the founder of Uber, Travis. We're at this fancy fucking conference in Hawaii, and we're playing checkers, right? Because like 2 in the morning, he's like, oh, I'm just playing fucking checkers, right? And I'm in deep shit. Like it's over. Like he's got me. Like it's like if you've ever played checkers, I'm finished. And so I'm like, fuck, man, I really don't want to lose this match. And so I decide to. I think about it for a little bit, like over a couple moves, and I decide to make pretend that I made a move that I'm upset about, hoping that he reacts to it quickly. So I make this move, and I go, fuck, and like try to make pretend that I need to go back, but like my hand was up already, so he jumps me, which set up a triple jump for me, and I won. That's how I think about my life. Perspective is a funny thing. Like, I just think there's only one person on earth that's allowed to complain. Like, there's, you know, the 7+ billion of us, and there's literally somebody who's in last place, like on the rank, right? Right? They're in a cave right now as a human slave or something. I'm being, you know, this is weird, but this is true. There's somebody who's in last place. And unless you're that person, you can't complain. And I think if you take that mindset, it gets real good. And that doesn't take out of the equation being a minority, being a female, being poor, being born to, you know, really difficult parent situation. Like, that doesn't eliminate it. I'm just trying to figure out what the mindset is to get out of it. Because if you're on the defense, you're on the defense. Because I see the same thing happen with the kid who sits and complains. A friend of mine who literally has $20 million in the bank as a trust fund kid, he's losing. Everything out of his mouth is defense.
How do you move on from that? I guess that's my question.
You know, it's funny, right? Because I gave that young man the same answer. And I spent a lot of time with minority female friends in the last year about this. Like, to me, I just try to remind them it's perspective. I genuinely, you know, what I'm about to say is very, very uncomfortable because I'm a white dude. But I'm gonna say it because I think it's my truth. I genuinely believe that happiness is much more of a mindset than people realize. You're more than welcome to look at those things, and you're getting pounded by them. But I've been lucky my whole life, forget about being a dude, or just even when I was a bad student, I just don't listen. You know, I think that you've never had more opportunity than you have right now. I understand the propaganda that's being pushed, but the reality is the internet doesn't give a fuck. The market doesn't give a fuck. You know what's really funny? Like, when it comes right down to it, people want to make money, people want to win, people want to be happy. I just think you're way more in control than you think. Like, I don't know what else to tell you, like what? Like, now, you know, like, obviously, for the really unfortunate, listen, I didn't get my green card until I was like 19. Like, my family, like, you know, was procrastinating our citizenship. I think about it all the time, like, fuck, we could have got really caught. You know, like unless you're sitting with not the right paperwork, which I think is then a real conversation. I have no interest in like sitting on a soapbox. But if you're set and you're here, you have it really good. I don't care what people say. There's an unlimited amount of opportunity. First of all, old white dude, like angry white dude, they can't stop you. Like, what are they gonna do? Like what? Like the cliche angry white dude that we're referring to isn't in a power position to begin with.
Really?
Sure.
Okay.
Angry white dude, like all these 28-year-old angry, like what? Like they're losing.
Mm-hmm.
And like 64-year, like when you say really, let me tell you about 64-year-old white dude. He wants to make money. And if a brown girl can do it for him, they're in. That's just the truth. That's the part that nobody talks about. Like, nobody's stopping you.
Okay.
Like, Jeff Zucker can be running CNN breaking news because he wants ratings, and it might be tricking you, but you're letting it trick you. So I would change your mindset. Like, you can do whatever the fuck you want. Like, you can. It's hard. Do I think it's harder for you? Yep. And?
That's all I needed, really.
I think so, right? Like, it's like people need to be reminded. Or when there's a coup in a country, they take over the media first. The media makes you think shit. That beautiful, wonderful woman right there believes those fuckers pumping that negativity. Because we're humans. I get it, I'm not mad at you, that's the game. So the fact that we now have that at our fingertips, like film, post, distribute, do you know how much money that costs a media company? My man over there, like Z, like for me to say you're a media company, that's crazy. You needed people to pick you. You needed to wait 4 years. You need to get lucky in Hollywood. You need to have 800 people put you on and take all your money out. It's all you. The internet changed everything. It is the biggest change in our society. We grossly underestimate it. You take it for granted. We underestimate it. It's the biggest shift in human culture ever. Thank you guys. Have a great day.
Walk out.
So the talk is over, and now everyone's like swarming after him. He walked right by me, but I didn't have my camera ready because I'm like that annoying person who always wants to like take a selfie with people, but everyone's... Oh, that's crazy.
Gary, thank you.
You're welcome, bro. Good luck to you.
He's just gonna hand it to me.
Okay.
Hand it to him, but I'll make sure he gets it.
I got you.
Yeah, man. I'm Tyler.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
1, 2, 3.
Guys, I gotta really run. I'm sorry.
Something that really stuck out to me, what he said, was about self-awareness and knowing your strengths. And this is something I've been thinking about so much lately, especially with my Myers-Briggs video that I made with Olivia, is like knowing yourself and knowing what you're good at and like your personality type and how that can help you. Because he's like, not everyone is built for like this kind of role, but you might be good at something else, like the more creative, or the more, if you're not like a leadership person or entrepreneur person who's like good at dealing with all the conflicts within people, then maybe you'd be good as like the second or the third man, not like the number one man. So all these things, it's so good to just know yourself and know like what you're good at, and that'll help you. And I love that. We're all different, and we all have something to contribute in like our different ways. If you don't know Gary Vee, definitely check out his stuff because you'll be like super motivated, super inspired, and he's just like the real deal. Another thing that he spoke about that really sticks out to me is the same thing that CCNY says, is that we live in this unique, amazing time of technology and of like these iPhones and our cameras and stuff and the internet, is that you can be your own like media company pretty much. You can build your own business, you can make your own like YouTube videos, you can do films, you can put all your stuff out there without having like an expensive film crew, without having people to go through, without having to be like hired by somebody. It's like we can do so much ourselves, and it puts us in like such a unique opportunity. And he talks about how we take that for granted, because like think back before, it's like we can't even imagine what it's like without internet and without all of our technology, but it's really not that long ago. And when I went to Playlist Live in 2012, they had a panel. One of them on the panel spoke about how YouTube and TV and media is like becoming a crossover, and now like YouTube is becoming the next like television kind of, and now we see this happening. And Gary talks about how he would go to like head people at CNN, and he mentioned something about YouTube like back in the day, and they didn't even know what it was. They were like, what's YouTube? And it's so crazy because it really, how much our world changed in just a short time, and it makes me think, how much is it gonna change in the next years? It's so crazy. There's so many reasons, amazing experiences and opportunities living in New York City provides, and this is just one of the many. So yes, I love it. Life is good today.